Welcome to The Link, and tonight we're discussing savings, but it also comes at a time when the World Savings Day is around the corner and is meant to promote the virtue of wise spending as well as saving some of your cash in some of the financial institutions rather than keep it in your wallet or perhaps in your stockings or even somewhere in the house. The economy, according to the World Savings and Retail Banking Institute, saving is vital to make welfare sustainable, to make you feel comfortable, pay for your bills from an early age to help you and your family prevent economic hardships and build sustainable futures, also bright for yourselves and your families and your relatives. So when you save a bit, big things will follow, and that will be the theme for this year's event, which is slated for October 31st. Now, in the studio tonight, here on The Link to help us understand matter of saving and the state of savings in this country is Make Aumu, is the Director for Payments at the Bank of Uganda. You're very welcome, sir.
Thank you, Malcolm.
A very good evening.
A very good evening to you and good evening, viewers.
How's the central bank?
Central bank this is a good time to save because it is a season when we recall the need to do savings.
Fantastic.
And so
yes, and so before we go definitely to the details, the deep details, what is the state of savings in the country today? Are we doing a good job? If you look at it from where you sit at the very top, you must know really how our behaviors are in as far as savings is concerned.
Yeah, thank you, Malcolm. That's a very good question. And for Ugandans, the service culture is still, I would say it's weak. Learning from resilience. We know COVID came in, COVID-19, systemic problem affecting everybody the same way. Surprisingly, when we went, FSD went out and did some studies, some research, the findings indicated that 51% of Ugandans could not cross to the next day. And the 85% could not sustain it for more than 15 days. And generally, savings are very weak in terms of percentage. Maybe only 25% of Ugandans take savings seriously. 75 still say they cannot meet their day-to-day needs, which is a big percentage.
Which is a big percentage.
Yeah.
And that's a very, very gloomy picture, if you ask me. So what is undermining the value of savings at the end of savings periods, or even before we go to the savings periods? Do we, from where you sit, have enough saving vehicles where people can save their monies? And I don't know whether that should also start from the levels of income and where this money actually comes from to help Ugandans put something aside.
Yeah, thank you, Malcolm. Before we talk about the vehicle for saving, savings, I think there has to be an aspect of discipline, personal discipline, because it's about putting aside something that you've earned to cater for the future. So the theme we're emphasizing this time is save as you earn. But indeed, the central bank, working together with the stakeholders, and even the private sector, the different regulatory authorities, there's been a lot of work done to create channels for savings. Of course, the one would emphasize that save with the supervised financial institution. But when you talk about regulatory authorities, you know the CMA, Capital Markets Authority, you have the IRA, insurance, you have the microfinance regulatory authority, you have the Retirement Benefit Authority. All those institutions that try to instill the sense of saving to Ugandans. There are many ways of saving. By touching on those, I've already touched about NSSF, I've touched on SACCOs, I've touched about banks, microfinance, deposit-taking institutions. All those are the different routes, ways of saving. But over and above that, then I think you asked about like infrastructure. Basically, the central bank tries to create an enabling environment. Not long ago, we struggled with the issues of like the law, there being no law for example, mobile money. But in 2020, an act was enacted, that means you can now save even in your wallet, on your phone, on your wallet. And central bank has brought out many avenues like the agent banking. Now you don't need to drive from wherever you live to the bank branch to look for a bank branch. You can easily access your money or save your money in the nearest agent. Of course, all may not be rosy, but we are putting all efforts even to review some of the regulations governing operations of agents, so that we indeed break through these barriers and bring services nearer to the people.
And the deepening of financial technology, which is still a little bit of a challenge. A lot of work has been done. We must commend, government and the central bank itself, but the deepening, the reach is still a little bit of a challenge.
It is still a challenge, but maybe the bigger challenge even is the informal sector. We have such a big informal sector. Look at people like in Chikubo doing businesses, and the money is kept there in the premises. And when there's a fire, you can see how big outcries we get. So the idea of having like agents, bank agents, getting closer to where business is done is a good thing, and having enabling laws to regulate different institutions that are involved in ensuring that savings are safe. It takes me back to the point I made of saying it's safer. We encourage you to save with supervised financial institutions.
Financial institutions, a lot of work still to be done.
Yes.
But let's speak about now because the value of savings, when you go out there, people will have different worries. They'll speak of what the value of savings being eroded here and there, and the issues of inflation will come up. So how then is that put into the picture?
You are right, Malcolm, because inflation erodes the purchasing power of your savings. With the same savings or same money, you may not be able to afford the same basket of goods that you ordinarily put in your basket. But thanks to, I don't want to blow my trumpet here, but I think the central bank has done a lot. Inflation has been under control for good years in series, and it's below the central bank target of 5%. It has been controlled. So that's one route why your savings can get eroded. So in the spirit of saving, when you save, plan for something which grows, not something which remains stunted or something which gets depleted. So when you go to the banks, there are different types of accounts. Banks have customer service officers who can explain to you the different accounts that you can open.
Okay.
So that you pick the one which is cheap, which is convenient, where charges are minimal, and basically we're talking about a savings account. But sometimes there could be other tailored products. If you talk with your banker, that I'm not going to be coming here every now and then, I want this money, so maybe you could do a fixed deposit, or any other saving account where there are no charges. Because the bank knows that this is a steady source of funds, so if the charges are going to be minimized to encourage you to keep money for a longer period of time.
And of course, saving schemes which have different, rates here and there, or promise much more on returns of people's money.
That's what we need to guard, really, the so-called policy.
So the question is, how does one decide the best place, or vehicle to place their money?
Okay, I've already overemphasized one.
Yes.
But you can even save as a group. That this happens now, you have these savings and village associations. But what is important is having a link to a safer institution. So your collective savings should not be kept like in the house. As a group, you should find a way of opening an account, for instance, or even a wallet, a mobile phone wallet. In Egypt, what has happened, they have now come up with what we call group savings wallets. So when you have the savings loan associations, as a team, you agree in maybe the chairman, treasurer, secretary, and if there's any transaction going through the account, there's an SMS message which goes to all the group members. So that's one way of controlling.
Yeah, sure. And making sure that money is safe.
So those are some of the products we're trying to work through.
So as we run out of time, I wanted to bring this up, the issue of buying shares, the options like buying land, putting your money into different things. Is that the best way of choosing how to save?
I think you have to, because they are different, we're in different levels as in society. So but they are also different savings vehicles. So if you talk about shares, of course that is for a certain class. But what do you get when you buy shares? When you buy shares, you expect to get a dividend at every year, at the end of the year, or if they are declared half yearly, you get your dividend. Yeah. But there's also what they call capital gains, meaning I can buy shares today, then I can sell to you, Malcolm, and when I sell to you, I can sell at a higher price, so I can make a gain. I can make a gain in that process. Land is also one of the areas Ugandans like investing a lot, but it's good to look at an area which is upcoming, maybe near to public, maybe near to a road network, near to public institutions, maybe a school, maybe a hospital, maybe those tend to gain value very quickly. But you can also lend to government. Government has unlimited liability, and you can start with 100,000 to buy treasury bills. There are treasury bills for 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year. It's also a route of saving. But there are also these trust funds, and the economy is generally changing. And what is important, I think, you have to do a lot of financial literacy and educate the public on the different routes.
That's a very important point as we wind up. You speak about treasury bills and bonds as we go out. How often does the central bank really put out that information to people that look, even as a family, if you have your millions, you can easily put it here, as opposed to just saying 100,000, that is the start, and then mentioning the tenor. How much amount of information do we have, and how much do even banks go out there? I know there are primary banks which do the dealership and the brokerage.
I think to the middle class, this information is readily available because you can go to the website, it's in the newspapers. But your point is about the people at the bottom of the pyramid, the businessmen. Some of them may not be so much educated, but they still have some money which they can put aside as savings, and they be able to earn something out of it, a return. So we do this by doing countrywide talk shows, radio talk shows. At least as I speak now, we have almost gone to all the main cities, towns of Uganda, and used most of the radio stations that have good coverage to talk to a lot of people. But our theme this year is save as you earn, meaning if you earn daily, then save every day. If you earn weekly, save every week. If monthly, save every month. And this is coming from what we are celebrating, the World Savings Day. This came out of a conference in Italy, Milano, in 1924. So the last day of the conference, which was 31st October, was declared as a World Saving Day. And the main point is to encourage saving, bring money to the bank. Why savings are important? I've just told you about COVID-19, what it has done to all of us.
It means that
indiscriminately.
Put something aside for the
future.
It's
better to put something aside for the future.
Thank you very much, Make. We have a very short time, and our time has come has run out according to the producers. Make Omo is the Director for Payments at the Bank of Uganda. Thank you very much. We'll definitely be getting back to you to come back once again and discuss with us payments and the safety of monies from the voice of the central bank.
Thank you. Thank you, Malcolm.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And that's the link.
It's a great opportunity.